Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's the last Wednesday of April. We are going through this year so fast. It's unbelievable. But I hope all of you are doing well. It's been a while. We've had a lot of different guests here at the Cafecito, a lot of different hosts as well. We're making it live and vibrant, and I hope you are enjoying it, from wherever you're joining us. But today here, I'm very excited to welcome Samanda Morales, and on the topic of about rewriting our money stories with purpose and intentionality. So thank you, Samanda, for joining us to this cafecito today.
Thank you, Ileana, for having me. I'm excited to be here with you and your audience.
Wonderful. And I was telling you, like behind the scenes, I think this topic, we can't have enough of it because it's something that I don't think it's natural to our culture. Talking about money, talking about wealth, it's sort of like on the one side, I think it's like a hush hush kind of don't talk about it thing. And on the other side, it's because we might not even know about it, right? It's not something that we've we've grown up to understand how to what the implications about money. It's just like transactional, and many are sort of like live in the day and don't really understand uh, the the how it can make our lives so full and so rich so that we can then create meaningful impact. It feels like this not taboo topic, but not a topic that many of us relate to it and welcome it. So I really want to hear more about the work that you do and how to reframe those stories in our minds, whatever they are, so that we can truly embrace it and make the best out of it. So I want to start like with you. And how did you come into this path?
Absolutely. So I want to start from the beginning because I think that as we talk about stories, money is there is a story behind finance. So there's a story behind money. There's a story behind every decision that we've made. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a purpose, but that things that we go through in life and things that we learn and that we don't learn shape the decisions that we make later on in life. So I want to start by just sharing a little bit of my beginnings because it actually influenced the decisions that I've made through my personal and career, but also influenced the my decision to launch a financial planning and investment firm. So I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I actually came when I was 14. My mother was already living here, and my sister and I lived with my father till I was 14. She was 16. And for me, which I'm sure is the same experience that you went through, the cultural difference between the Dominican Republic to the United States was a completely different culture, completely different system, completely different way of living. And I understood finally when I came here, I was a little older, what my dad was doing back at home when he will manage and make last everything that he had from food to finances to anything that he used for the daily living. So um, a lot of the things that I learned from my dad, resilience and commitment, and my mother, servants to others, because my mother was the one that would give in a cup of rice to the neighbors and a cup of sugar for the ones that needed it. That all those planted seeds into making the decision that I made to go into business and now to empower others with the information, the resource, and the tools that people need to live a comfortable life, but also build a strong financial future for themselves, but also their family. So that is where I think my inspiration came from. Just growing up with parents that dedicated themselves to working hard, just being responsible financially, and then learning from my mother how to service others and just make this world a little better, one person at a time.
I love
Um,
that story, and I think that's an important way that we pay forward sort of the well, we honor our past and we pay forward to start opening the spaces for everybody else that's coming behind us, right? So I really love that story. Um, and so therefore, like, how did Wellfin start, and you becoming aware of all of these about this topic, which is not natural for many of us.
right. Yeah. So as especially the majority of us that come here already as teenagers or adults, it's not something that we talk about. Financial planning and investment management. It's something that we think about is only for the rich and people that already have money. And it's not a topic of conversation or home. To your point, as you introduced the topic, it's not something that we sit down and talk at the dinner table. But money is really important to our family. So I always wanted to be in business, and I started working at a Fortune 500 company that does mutual fund and investment management. So I was exposed to various aspects of the stock market and the financial system. And I learned what a 401k was, what a defined benefit, a pension plan was. I learned what's the difference between a mutual fund and a stock and bond. So all those instruments that are used in the financial system to build wealth. I learned the operation, but also the evaluation, the accounting of it. So I just continued to learn, okay, what it means to invest in a mutual fund today, and what does that happen to your money in next year and 5 years and 10 years. So professionally, I learned all that. But then at the same time, personally, um, I wanted to do better financially, and my husband and I wanted to rewrite the money story of always working and living paycheck to paycheck and having a lot of credit card debt and just living to pay bills and pay debt. So we wanted to basically rewrite that story and break that cycle. We Latinos specifically, we know how to work hard, and we work hard. We're resilient, but then we just need to we needed the resource and the tools to, okay, how do we now use all the hard work and resilience and the income that we're earning to build a foundation and to build wealth, not just for us but also for our next generation. So my husband and I started being intentional, okay, where we spent our money, reducing debt, paying off our credit cards, and then investing toward a 529, which is in a college savings plan for our kids, and then investing more in the future for, buying a property or just being intentional with our finances. So then after 23 years of working for the Fortune 500 company, I told my husband, I don't want to work with institutional clients anymore, which is big companies. I want to work with individuals. And how do I combine what I've learned professionally and what I've gone through personally, combine the lived experience with the professional knowledge, and empower other families and individuals to build a strong financial foundation, live a comfortable life, but have a plan for the future. And that's where Wellfin 360 came from. I don't believe in just accumulating money. I believe in having a comfortable and lifestyle that people enjoy living. And I see financial wellness as that comprehensive way of ensuring that your finances are stable today, but at the same time, you're saving and preparing for your future. So, WellFin is basically showing for Wellness Financial 360. 360 is all around. I think our finances are, again, are more than just dollar signs. It's emotions, our challenges, our goals that we have as people. So I incorporate all that into the services I provide to my clients.
I love that. And with everything that's happening right, I think fear is a big component of not doing something that has to do with money, right? Because it's I don't want to lose, or I don't know, so I just lo dejo abajo del colchón kind of mentality, right? And it's better here and just hold to the 2 cents that I have than to whatever push myself out there, where we hear so many stories of people that have been embezzled, or that they've lost everything because of whatever. So, and right now I think the stories are heightened just because of everything that's
Yeah.
happening. What are those what are your recommendations, or what are the common misconceptions, or the things that we need to keep in mind? Because definitely, holding it under the mattress is still not the right thing to do, although it might feel that way. It's not. So how can we move and shift that mentality so that we can allow ourselves to still take those risks, but in a comfortable way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So one of the things that I also include as part of my services is that habits and mindsets that we have, or fear, right? Because things that we have experienced personally, but things that we have seen others experience, and not having the money that you have invested available when you need it, it's certainly very it's unsettling. But one of the things that I talk to people, and when I sit down, is I also provide the education. I provide the pros and the cons and all the resources that are available for them to make an informed decision. So what I will say, someone that's fearful with, I what's going to happen with my money, I don't want to lose it. First of all, for savings, for example, banks have to be insured um, federally for up to $250,000 per account. For example, if I have a savings account, if I have $50,000 in my savings account, and God forbid the bank went bankrupt tomorrow, I'm guaranteed that my capital is going to be given to me, $50,000, because the bank is insured by the federal government. So that it's secure. You want to deposit your money in bank accounts that are FDIC insured, which is that your money is basically going to be insured. So that is a fear that people don't have to experience. That money is yours. So for people to invest in the stock market, and I don't want to lose my money, my retirement, or if I have what I call a pre-retirement account, that's when financial planning and a comprehensive plan comes into play. Because looking just at one side, finances, basically, I just want to invest and grow my money, with ignoring where do you have enough money for an emergency? Do you have enough money to pay for your necessities? Do you have enough money for the goals that you have? I want to travel back home once a year to see my family. So if you don't have those resources and the funding available, then investing all your money long term may not be a good strategy. So one of the things that I tell my client before they start thinking about investing long term, specifically outside of retirement account, is okay, make sure your emergency fund is in place. Is recommended 3 months of your essential expenses, basically your rent or your mortgage or your utilities, money that you need to pay for your bills. And then outside of that, you're paying down your debt, because if you have $50,000 in debt, when you're paying 25% of interest, you pay more in interest or that debt that you will accumulate on your investment account. So this, and then if make sure you're investing long term. If you are 30 years old and you don't need the money in 10 years, then seeing the market go up and down may not be as relevant to you, because you have 10 years to weather the ups and the downs. And historically, for the past, couple of decades or more, the market has always recuperated. And when there's a down market, then you will always see the market go up. And if you take your money um, before the market goes up, then you're not taking advantage of the upswing of the market. I'm not sure if I was too technical explaining that, or I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit
No,
more
I
about
think
that.
I think I think that was perfect. And some of the things I think with social media and with so many digital, the way to get the information into our fingertips that was easier than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? On the one hand, I think it helps because then we can access that education that you mentioned in an easier way. But on the other hand, it also makes it more challenging because there's a lot of misinformation
Mhm.
as well in terms of, TikTok videos and just people sharing random tips that
Yeah.
it's like the easy, quick money and do this and you're going to become ultra rich tomorrow kind of thing. And that is not really it. Like, are there some guidelines that you would say? Obviously, absolutely reach out to somebody like you, but not everybody feels that that's the first thing that they want to do. They want to try it out themselves. I don't know why, but that is the case. So, are there like any recommendations that you have?
Yeah. So anytime you listen into a video, and you're guaranteed to make a lot of money fast and quick, definitely like turn your alarm bells on, because that's how Ponzi schemes happen. They come to people, and because we have the desire to build wealth and we have the desire to do better, then our emotions are already 100%, because yes, I want to take the money that I have and I want to multiply it. So when you hear anyone that comes to you, or you're listening to anyone where they're promising and guaranteeing that your money's going to double in 6 months, you definitely should start questioning, okay, where is the money coming from? How is my money going to double? Because again, that's how Ponzi schemes have been able to influence people to invest in them. So usually, they're investing, trading and investing are two different things. Okay. Trading is when you're buying and selling on a daily basis. You want to make a sell. You buy at $20, you want to sell at $25. That's trading. Investing is long term. You want to accumulate your money over time, which is what the seventh wonder of the world, which is compound interest, meaning you let your money sit there long enough that it's going to compound to a bigger balance. So invest it long term, because that is where you're going to diversify your risk, meaning you may see technology go down, but if you're invested in healthcare, then you're not going to lose money, or you're not going to gain, you're not going to be as risky in that investment because healthcare is going up. So you definitely want to have a options where you're diversifying your money and you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. If you're putting all your eggs in one basket with someone that comes to you and say, if you give me your money, I'll double it in 6 months, that's definitely a risk that you're taking, that you run the risk of losing your investment at the end of the day. So that's what I will say. Just listening to quick turnarounds, promising doubling your money in a short period of time, that should definitely raise your, again, your alarm bells, and start questioning, what's the catch here?
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about at the beginning something that I wrote down that I think is very important. It's about breaking the cycles, and I think that's, to me, I see it all the time, and even myself. Right, breaking those cycles becomes critically important in order to be able uh, to move forward into better ways of managing our money, better ways of managing our wealth, or actually just managing wealth and creating wealth and all of that. But do you have like any, I don't want to say quick tips because I don't think nothing is quick, but just like key things that we can do, either habits, practices, behaviors that you see consistently your clients like going through again and again and again, that you can say, you know what, at least if you do these three things, or two things or whatever, it'll help you start walking down the right path of breaking that cycle that we keep just perpetuating and will not get us anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Two things that I've noticed. in the years that I've worked with individuals and families are two things. High debt. I'm not saying debt is bad, because good debt is, a mortgage, or you have a business that you're own, and you're paying for that debt. Credit card debt and personal loan debt, it's basically debt that are stealing from your future, because instead of putting money in a savings account or an investment account, you're paying interest to a credit card company. So keeping quick tip, reducing any what's called high interest debt, um, credit card debt, keep it to a minimum or zero. Um, and then the other one is spending um, on things that are really not in building for the future, for yourself. Things like buying 20 pair of shoes, or I want to, you know, I just want to go to the mall and buy things, or I am going to go to a concert and and pay $1,000, which is fine. I'm not saying people not to go out, but plan in advance for those things. So when we spend more than what we bring in, or we're not really given, what I say, a job to every dollar that we make, that's when we may find ourselves in the future to look back and be like, well, I didn't build anything, because we just, our income, we're not maximizing in a way that's building for us, that's building the future, but we're spending it on in credit cards, or overspending on things that are not going to create value long term. Those are the two quick things that I will say.
And you touch on something that actually I've heard before, but I wanted to ask you, is about putting a role to every dollar that comes in.
Mhm.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So I just had a call with a client right before this podcast, actually, and we went over her what I call a cash flow analysis. Okay, what's your cash? How much you have coming in versus how much you have going out. So she has a credit card debt. She's saving toward her emergency fund, but she also wants to take a trip in July, and she wants some money available to pay for that trip. And I said, okay, great. So at the end of all savings, you're paying for your credit card, you're paying for your bills, you still have $400 at the end of the month. What are you going to do with the $400? And that's an option that we provide. Okay, now you have this trip that's coming up. You can take the $400 for the next couple of months, set it aside, and now you have $800 that you can take with you to your trip in July. So taking that, again, your income on a month to month basis, and allocating, okay, I have $1,100 to pay for my bills. I have $600 that I just have it for myself if I want to go out, if I want to buy things, and then I'm going $200 every month. I'm going to set it aside into a savings account. Breaking down your income on a month to month basis on those three different things: my bills, what I call discretionary expenses, things that I'm going to spend on myself, and my savings. And then the fourth one, if you have debt, how much are you allocating to your debt? So breaking it down, those various sections of your financial life, it's will give you, one, more control over your money, two, that plan where you're allocating your income in a way that is working for you, and three, you can make adjustments along the way and be informed on that's going to impact you at the end of the month. Because if you want to take an extra trip at the end of the summer, then you can plug and play, okay, how is this going to impact my finances at the end of the month? So definitely, that's how I would say, how do you allocate in different pockets the money that you're making on a monthly or annual basis?
I love that. And we're coming to the end of this conversation, which I think in the future we're going to start thinking about making these 1 hour long, because we always
That was
get
fast.
to
That went
like
fast.
it goes so fast. I know, it's crazy. Any like final thoughts, tips, advice? How do we connect with you? Share more.
Yeah, so I definitely want to make sure that people walk away with the understanding that having a financial advisor, an investment manager, it's not just for the rich. Um, it's, for example, you have independent advisors like myself that have no minimums and have no income requirements that are more than willing to work with individuals and families to build a financial plan that works for them and their lifestyle and their life. And that it's also planning for their future. So definitely do your research. What does a independent financial planner or advisor does? And yeah, it's definitely start working toward your financial future there. And you don't need to have a lot of millions of dollars to do that. You can find me on wolfin360.com. I'm also and LinkedIn and Instagram. Any questions that anyone has or any doubts of anything that they have received as far as investments or any recommendations, I am more than welcome to provide any feedback or answer any questions that individuals may have. You can send me a message directly from my website, or again, social media on Instagram or LinkedIn.
I love that. Thank you so much, Samanda, for being here, for being a member of this amazing community of United Latinas, because that's what it's all about. It's all about connecting with each other, sharing our wisdom in a safe space where we don't have to feel the shame and the guilt of, you know, coming up with
Yes.
these money stories, and which sometimes there's a lot of shame and guilt behind that. And I know that if they reach out to you, they can feel comfortable that there's not going to be any judgment. It's just going to be, let's chat about it and see how
Yep.
you can be and live your best life forward, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so
I
much.
don't, sorry. Just one thing. I don't focus on the problem. I'm always thinking about, okay, what's the solution and what's the opportunity here to move forward?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here today on this cafecito. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever in the world you are. And see you next week for another cafecito as we head into actually Mental Health Awareness Month. So all the cafecitos that are going to happen in through May, they're going to be focused on you and your mental health and your well-being. So we're excited about that. And join us. We have our welcome members meeting it's happening on Tuesday. And then we have our speaker circles also happening in our business circles, and more events. You can check them out at unitedlatina/events.com. So thank you so much, Samantha, and see you everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.